Greetings, ghouls. Welcome to Deadsville Horror Talk. I'm your host, Ronin James, and to my left, as always, the lovely Steph Infection.
Hey, Scream Hearts.
We are going to do a special episode today. There's kind of a gap in new movies.
Yeah.
So we figured we would take this week and do something older. And
Throwback.
A little throwback. And what better to do than something that I actually worked on and
Got some insider scoops
some
on,
inside
too.
stories, and a lot of people I've talked to a bunch of people about this kind of stuff before, and people always seem to kind of like these stories, and there's a lot of actors involved in this one, including our friend Kane Hodder, who
Our friend Kane Hodder. I like the sound of that.
the voice of Doggy Deviant. This is Death House. This was the first time meeting Kane and working with Kane, and I have lots of interesting stories, so we are going to review and talk about some insider info on 2017's Death House.
We got, I think, a lot to say about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
We will. And I'm not going to have a biased opinion because I worked on it. You will definitely not get, I will not hold back. I will not bite
I would
my
not
tongue.
respect you if you said anything different.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. I will keep it real.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so real quick bit about us before we get into Death House. I am director of Deadsville Rock and Roll Mysteries, Ronin James. I also direct Dickie Devil and the Deviants music videos and some other stuff in the works. I am a longtime stunt man and stunt coordinator, about 20 years in the business. And Death House is one of the big ones that I coordinated on. Worked here in Philadelphia, and we worked in Holmesburg Prison, shot majority of our stuff there, and I got to employ 25 or so stunt people, local stunt people, and bring some others in and do a lot of fun stuff. Got to work with a bunch of horror icons, and it was one of my first really big gigs, and this is one of the films that I cut my teeth on as a stunt coordinator. So yeah, this is my wheelhouse. We're going to talk about it. Next to me, of course, Steph Infection, who has worked on many things herself, including, I'm not going to say his name.
Please, I swear, I'm going to stop doing this podcast if you keep bringing up his name. No, something else.
She's done some acting, some producing, some dance choreography, cheerleader.
Oh,
now fear leader.
Yes.
She was a cheer coach for many years, which makes her the perfect
I cheered for 19 years. And
cheered 19 years
into college.
And a cheer coach after. Right?
And I coached for 17 years, so almost as long as I cheered.
But a lot of cheering.
But then COVID hit, and now I'm doing this stuff, and decided to become a fear leader.
You became a fear leader.
Yes.
See how that transition?
I know.
It was just like a natural thing. You went from cheerleader to fear leader.
It was always meant to be that way.
Yep, so now here we are, and we do this lovely podcast, among other things that we are involved in, but this is one of them. And, every week we come out here and we like to see new horror movies and give you our takes on them. We'll give you our first take, a spoiler-free review. To start things off. Sometimes it'll be a little longer than others. Today, I don't think, this movie came out in 2017, so I don't think we're going to spend too much time on spoiler-free.
No, definitely not.
We're going to dig deeper pretty quick on this one. But definitely on the newer stuff, we tend to do a lot more in our first take section so that you can listen to first bit of the show and see if you plan on seeing the movie and maybe haven't watched it yet and kind of want to get a feel for what we think before you see it. Then you can pause it and go see the movie and then come back. And if
we'll still do that today, I was going to say. So don't think that we're not going to.
That's exactly what I was going to say. If you've never watched Death House, we just watched it again on...
Tubi. I was like, I don't even know what we were watching it on.
On Tubi. It's free to watch on Tubi with commercials now. You can watch Death House. starring Kane Hodder and Dee Wallace and Bill Moseley and Barbara Crampton and Tony Todd.
See, I guess we're just going through the cast.
Yeah. I'm doing a commercial right now for Tubi to try and get my residuals up for this.
Is that what? You gotta fill me in next time.
Go watch it so I get an extra like 20 cents next month.
See? Yes. There you go.
So, it's on Tubi now. You can watch it for free with commercials. And we watched it again. And
actually, I think that's the first time I've ever actually made it through. I've bounced around it in the past.
Yeah, she's dodged it like a bullet.
You showed me 5 years ago, like certain scenes, and I think I may have seen those scenes again, but nothing.
There's some of them are in my demo reel and in my coordinator's reel.
I've seen
like
those
that, so.
a couple times, but not the whole movie. But this was something. This was something to see.
Yeah. All right, we'll get to that. But before we do, our call to action, make sure that if you are listening on Spotify that you follow us. If you're watching on YouTube, you follow and subscribe and hit the bell and comment and like and all that fun stuff, all that good stuff. We do this every week. We just monetized on Spotify. I'm not sure if the ads are showing up yet or not. We will see. We haven't gotten any like host read ads or anything yet. Still waiting on that, but we are eligible, so hopefully something starts popping there soon. But yes, please follow us, share, tell your friends, and comment, because comments definitely help. They help all the
yes, please,
all the algorithms, especially on our Facebook page and Instagram pages and stuff like that, the TikTok page, all that stuff. Comment on the videos, comment on this, on Spotify, all that fun stuff. All right. Also, you can email us.
Please email us.
Send us an email to the mailbag. And that is
Deadsville Horror Talk at gmail.com. Subject mailbag.
That's right.
Deadsville Horror Talk at gmail.com. Send us something. I mean, we usually make a post on Facebook.
Yes.
One of us, and we try to like get some chatter going. But seriously, at any time, just send us an email if you want to send us like pictures with you and some horror celeb that is in one of the movies that we're talking about or have talked about, story, whatever. Just,
let us know about a con or something that you're involved in, all that stuff.
If you have a horror business, whatever.
Yes, your business, your all of the above. Your band, we'll even do that.
Yeah,
So.
we like bands too.
That's not what I'm trying to find.
I have yours up.
You have it up already?
I have it up. There's only one thing, so we're good to go. You're good.
Fair
All
enough.
right.
Well, let's keep it rolling then.
Yeah.
I guess we will start with our synopsis.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, I'll do our little thing at the beginning. So, real quick, Death House is a 2017 American horror film written by Gunnar Hansen, the late, great Gunnar Hansen, who was the original Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Gunnar has a cameo in the film, and it is directed by Harrison Smith. Gunnar appears via hologram.
Yeah.
So, the film features an ensemble cast of horror icons, including Kane Hodder, Barbara Crampton, Bill Moseley, Dee Wallace, Tony Todd, and Camille Keaton. Originally written by Hansen, the film started as a concept intended to bring as many well-known horror actors together as possible. This is Hansen's final film performance, as it was released 2 years after his death. And I know the script went through a lot of revisions, a lot of changes, and this was always kind of supposed to be, I mean, me personally, this was, I'll just give my quick introduction to this. This was like the Holy Grail, the mythological horror script. It was the Expendables of Horror, they called it, where you brought all of, like Gunnar's original idea was to bring Freddy and Leatherface and Jason and, Pinhead and everybody, all of the big faces of horror, was to bring them all together in one movie, the same way that Stallone would later do the Expendables and bring together all these horror icons. The problem was Jason and Leatherface and Freddy and Chucky and all these characters are all intellectual properties that are owned by all different companies, all different companies who want their piece of the pie, who don't want to necessarily work with other companies, and it was a fucking headache to try and get it done, and it was just never ever going to happen just because you were...
You probably need a stupid amount of money, too.
Well, you need a stupid amount of money. I mean, you just look at Friday the 13th, it just came out of development hell after years and years and years because there was all kinds of litigation and everything going on. They're finally going forward with a series, Camp Crystal Lake series. They finally settled on who owns the rights to Jason and Friday the 13th and The Mask and all that stuff. And it's all legal bullshit that we as fans don't really give a shit about. But what it does is it keeps things like Gunner's vision from ever happening, which is a shame. So what Death House wound up being was a kind of re-envisioning where characters were renamed and you had different takes. And
like it was the actors, but not their characters that we know them and love them to be.
But there would be some nods to previous characters and stuff like that, which we'll get into later. But so yeah, and this was Gunner with his appearance via hologram. Very cool nod. Also making him the father of a character that was the nod to Leatherface.
Yes.
Was very cool. Yeah. Thumbs up on that. So yeah.
Leatherlace.
Yes. Steph Infection's going to give us our storyline now.
Yeah.
And which I mean, if you've watched the movie, it's damn near impossible to follow.
Yeah. So this is going to be, here we go.
So I'm eager to hear this storyline explained on IMDB here, because I was watching and I was like,
I mean, it's well, okay.
Go ahead.
All right, you listen and we'll discuss. Okay. During an exclusive tour, a power breakdown inside a secret prison known as Death House sends two agents fighting through a labyrinth of horrors while being pursued by a ruthless army of roaming inmates. As they fight to escape, the agents push towards the lowest depths of the facility where they learn a supernatural group of evil beings is their only chance for survival. I mean... that is what it is.
It sounds really good.
Yeah.
It sounds like, yeah.
I just wish I would have known that. Like, that's what was happening. Because now in hindsight, I'm like, yeah, that's what happened.
It's kind of like what happened, but there was so much else. So much happening. Tagline for this is, hell is not a word, it's a sentence. And I will agree. It was hell getting through this movie because there were so many fucking sentences. There were so many sentences.
I don't even understand that tagline though. Like, it's not even that witty.
It's like a prison sentence. Hell's not a word.
Oh.
Hell's not a word. It's a sentence. Like a prison sentence.
Never mind.
It's a play on it. Yes.
It went right over my head.
Yeah. Woo. Yes. Hell is not a word. It's a sentence. So. Yeah, let's get on with it. The director of this one, B. Harrison Smith. Harrison has done quite a few films, most notably Death House, Camp Dread, Elephant's Graveyard, Zombie Killers in 2015 with Billy Zane, I believe, was in that one.
Oh, like Billy Zane.
Yeah, and he's Harrison has done, and Harrison was a lot of fun to work with. He, let's see, Hopkinsville, he's got some stuff in the works. A Wonderful Time of the Year, Where the Scary Things Are. He's got a couple things came out last year. All I Want for Christmas. Oh, The Special, I remember The Special. That was on, The Special is the one with the box, and you put your dick in the box.
I don't know.
And you get The Special. You go into this
is that real?
It's like a massage parlor. Yeah. Not to give it away, but yeah. The Special is
not to give it away.
It's this horror movie. Yeah. Where you go to this. You put your dick in this box and like it's called The Special. It was.
That's a little scary.
Disturbing. Yeah, it was disturbing. So, but yeah, Harrison was fun to work with. Good dude. I believe he also wrote this script. So Gunnar wrote the original, and Harrison did the rewrites on it. At any rate, the script is very wordy. The script is probably the weakest part of this movie. Absolutely, it's like like the dialogue's bad. The story is so convoluted. It's hard to follow. It's tough to figure out what the fuck is going on. I mean, I was there working on it a lot of days, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Is this what we're doing? Okay. Okay. I will say that when I got the script originally, because I was mailed the script, and we'll get to that as we get a little, when I get to a little further into this stuff. But there was a ton of budget constraints on this. Harrison did not have a big budget to work with. A lot of the budget that he had went to all these celebrity horror icon actors. They cost a lot. They're not cheap to bring in on these things. And that's where a lot of their budget's going. So a lot of stunts were unable to do. There was the stuff when I found out the stunt budget on this, what I had to work with, I was like, well, we can cut this out, we can cut this out, we can cut this out. This isn't happening. No, not unless we bring somebody else in for this, and then this, no, and we could do these. This I think we could do, and that, and yeah, it was like, he was aiming, aim high, but the budget only lets you come in so much. So there are some scenes in here where it's noticeably like, what the fuck?
Especially the CGI and editing.
There's some bad CGI in this. Be prepared if you haven't watched it. Be prepared. If you have, you know already. The CGI and everything is it's rough. It's rough. But yeah, the writing is just so. There's so much going on. Like if it would have just been a straight, like the synopsis says, the agents come in. It's even hard to understand about the agents and everything. It's just so... I
didn't know they were agents until right now.
Until everything, that's
I'm
going
not
on.
kidding.
Well, they called them agent, and
I thought the one was, but...
that they graduated from the academy and stuff like that. But but at the end, they're not really agents. They're plants that have been brainwashed by the... Sorry, oops. Damn, I just let out a spoiler.
Well, I don't think it matters. But yeah, I was just going to say, I don't even think we're doing first takes. You're just getting right into everything.
Oh, man. All right, I got to be careful. We're going to get to the cast.
We're not even at the cast yet.
I know. Sorry. All right, let's take a look at our cast here. There's a lot of horror heavy hitters in this one. Starting with our friend Kane Hodder, who plays Sieg, a neo-Nazi in the Star. He's like the lead, man. And it was very cool when I found out that Kane was going to be the star of our film, and he's a stunt legend. He's a legendary stunt man. So, being a stunt performer and up and coming at the time coordinator, that was pretty surreal and intimidating, and
I can imagine.
The first time I met him wasn't so great. We'll get to that. There's a story to it. But he had some questions when he first met me. Well, I had answers, luckily. But he was a super great guy. Awesome on set. Spent most of the days where the stunt team was there just hanging out with the stunt people and talking stunts and asking everybody about themselves and what they worked on. Super fucking cool guy. Great to work with. Super nice. And currently working with us on Deadsville Rock and Roll Mysteries.
So crazy.
So who would have thought?
So crazy.
All those years ago, almost 10 years ago, that, we'd be here.
I know.
He'd be voicing our puppet.
I mean, I didn't, but I didn't even know you then, so.
That's true. I never thought he'd be voicing my puppet.
Oh.
So... also, another big one in this is Dee Wallace. Dee, obviously, everybody knows she's like the classic 80s mom from E.T. And Cujo and God. I mean, Dee was in everything. I go back and watch it. I was watching like Critters, and she's the mom in Critters. And it was just. That was a trip working with Dee as well. I got a story with her that I'll tell. I can give hers real quick. So Dee plays a doctor in this, Dr. Eileen Fletcher, and it takes place. The death house is a prison for like serial killers, for the worst of the worst serial killers. So one of my first days working with Dee, we meet. Nice to meet you. And I was going to go over with all of the actors how to hold their weapons, how to move, because we had our two main stars, Cody Longo and Courtney Palm. They were playing young FBI agents, so I was going to go over how to handle their weapons, how to move, how to look realistic when they're approaching, moving, clearing a room, things like that.
Unlike some people in this movie.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So Dee came up to me. She's like, "Oh, well, I want to look like a badass. I feel like I'm going to be carrying. I have to carry a gun at some point. And I'm in this facility, even though I'm a doctor. I think I kind of know what I'm doing, don't you?" And I was like, "Hell yeah! Come on, let's go, Dee. I'll show you. Let's do this." And she's like, "Make me look like a badass." And I said it. I couldn't help it. I was like, "Dee, you fought Cujo. You are a badass. I can't make you any more of a badass than you already are. But I'll show you how to hold the gun."
You fought Cujo.
Yeah, man. Like, how more badass can you be? You fought Cujo.
How
Shit.
cool is that, though? Dee Wallace asked you to make her look like a badass.
Yeah, well, that was fucking surreal. It was very cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, so, all right, moving on. Like I said, Courtney Palm, who, very awesome to work with. Courtney was great, total sweetheart. And if you've seen Zombievers, Courtney was in that. You've never seen Zombievers because you don't delve into the shallow end of the pool like I do. Sometimes you gotta swim in the shallow end.
Sometimes I do.
Just have a little fun. And me and my son watched Zombievers together. And should I give the Courtney Palm story with Cody now?
Sure.
I guess we might as well go into some of this now on the cast stuff. I have little stories about a lot of the cast, so we might as well talk about them here.
Yeah.
And get it out of the way.
You're good. We're just going to go all out of it. We're good. We're good. It's our show. We can just make up the rules, right?
So my son, Cody, plays Kane Hodder's son in the movie. And he's got a scene with Courtney Palm. If you've seen the movie, they're in like a bunker, and I won't get into the whole thing of what happens, but he's in a scene with Courtney. And after they worked together on the day, I was like, "Oh, can we get a picture? Can I get a picture, for Cody and you together?" And we were getting pictures with Kane and Cody. We were getting pictures with everybody for Cody. So we go to Courtney, and she puts her, "Oh yeah, it was great work we did," and they're talking, and I was like, "Yeah, we just watched Zombievers," and she's like, "Oh yeah." And she looks right at my son, and he was probably 12 at the time.
He looked
10. He was
I
probably
think he's
10.
younger. No,
10 or 12 at the time. And she looks right at him and says, "Oh, so you've seen my boobs." She has a topless scene in Zombies. And we had just watched it. And it was probably one of his early, This was one of his early exposures to boobs I let him watch. So, and he just turned bright red. He was just like, "Oh my God."
We'll say he's 13, but he was little.
He was young. But yeah, they both started laughing, and it was funny. It was a good. She was a total sweetheart, super nice to work with. Same thing, Cody Longo was great too. They both were like, when it was time to do all the movement and stuff like that, they were very into it. They were very much like, "I want to make sure it looks real. I want to look real. I want to look like I know what I'm doing." They were very particular about making sure that they looked like they knew what they were doing. So it was good. It's good to have guys and girls who are eager and willing to learn. Yes. Yeah. So in addition to those are our main characters, really. And then we had Tony Todd as Farmer Asa. Bill Moseley is Geiger. Nicole Siniglia is Elise. Debbie Rochon is Leatherlace, the homage to Leatherface.
Yeah,
Well, Cody Longo, now he's Cody Anthony on IMDB. So he is now known as Cody Anthony, and he played Jay Novak. Lindsay Hartley played Balthuria. Barbara Crampton, Dr. Karen Redmayne. Michael Berryman, Hills Have Eyes. He was Crow. Sid Haig, in one of his...
Yeah, Sid was good.
One of his final appearances, I suspect, was the Icicle Killer. Vernon Wells as Nella. Vincent Ward as Thiel. Camille Keaton as Christy Boone. That was Courtney's mother. Yeah, and Cody C.J. Greene as the Nazi zombie boy.
Yeah, and he was a good Nazi zombie boy. Especially the zombie version.
Yeah.
That was fun.
So, all right, well, that takes care of our cast. So I guess it's time to do our quick first takes on this one.
Okay, yeah, it's going to be a quick first take.
It's going to be a quick first take because we're just going to get to some stuff. And there's not a whole lot to say about this one that we haven't said.
No.
Not to spoil it. So, real quick, first takes. Stefan, fetching up first as usual.
Okay. My first take was somehow I got out of watching this for 5 years and got roped into doing it. No, I'm just kidding. It was there's like some really like fun parts in this. I am so confused by the script. I still don't understand a lot of it that happened. If you are an uber horror fan, you know, like you love all the cast and you love all these like horror legends, yeah, watch it because it's just like fun seeing them together. But yeah, I'm confused. So, you know.
You're not the only one. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm confused. That's my first take. I'm just confused.
Yeah, well.
Fights were awesome.
Thanks. The stunts were great. Yeah, I mean, I have a biased opinion. The stunts were awesome. It was a blast to work on. I had a fucking great time working with everybody. But similarly, I found as a film critic, I'm not really a film critic, as a filmmaker myself, just bad scripts, bad dialogue, a lot of just needless exposition and too much going on and just, I don't know. It was almost like we were just like kind of throwing shit at the wall almost. Oh, we want to have him in the movie too, so let's just write something for him real quick and throw it in there. And there was stuff that didn't move the plot along. There was like shit that just sat, and then there's like stuff where you were like, why are we even doing this right now? Why is this even in here? Why?
I don't know.
There was just so much that, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good fucking like practical effects. There was some awesome practical effects.
Oh, yeah,
some great fucking blood and gore and stuff in there. There's really good stuff that they did. There's the stunts again. I mean, there's a full-scale fucking prison riot that I was able to pull off with like 25 dudes, and it looks like a full-scale prison riot.
Yeah.
And my guys are brutal, and my guys are, like, if nothing else, go watch it for the prison riot scene, just to appreciate these dudes who gave their fucking all and went all in on these stunts, because it looks brutal.
Oh, yeah.
And the whole thing was filmed, a real quick trivia note. When we got in there, originally the plan was for the red lights to be on at all times, the emergency light.
Yeah.
A little into the movie here, but the power goes out. We said that in the synopsis. When the power goes out, your red light would normally come on. But then when we got there and we were actually in the prison filming, the decision was made to turn off all the lights and just film with handheld flashlights shining around on stuff, which makes it made for it to be very atmospheric and scary, and but it was also very hard to see, and for my guys and everybody else going on, we had a lot of moving parts in a fucking riot scene, so it was very tough to like keep track, and everything was filmed in small pieces and move here and move the camera here, and we'll get into some more of the action, but it definitely that was like a last minute decision that was made to turn off the red light completely and go completely power out, and just everybody has flashlights. That way it would just make everything more dark, scary, easier to hide, imperfections, shit like that. So it was interesting little side note there.
Interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, that's keeping on to my first take. I don't know, man. I would watch it, like I said. Don't try and make any sense of it. If you have like a ×2 where you can still hear them talking, you can ×2 it. During a lot of the talky scenes because it doesn't matter. None of it matters. There's nothing really in there that really matters to anything. You just want to see the icons and some good blood and guts and check out the stunts. For that purpose, I'd say watch it. Other than that, actually watch it so I can collect a little bit of visuals off of it. We don't make much, but yeah, a little something. Yeah, and it's free on Tubi, so if nothing else, you could be like, I watched that, yay!
Yay! Because that's what I'm saying right now. Yay, I watched that. I'm like,
oh, God.
Well, I think we looked at each other and I went, well, that's a movie.
That's a movie.
It sure is a movie. That was a movie.
All right. Shall we break out the shovels? We're going to need big shovels for this one. There's a lot of shit happening. Boop, boop. Oh, get them shovels. Boop, boop. Digging deeper, step infection. We're back. We're digging deeper.
Oh, my God. I can't take you.
Death House.
Oh, you're doing the hand. Oh,
yes.
You're doing the hand.
I wore my Death House stunt team Philadelphia 2016 commemorative shirt that I bought as a gift for all of my stunt people.
Yes. You're a very nice coordinator. It's very nice of you.
Well, I learned from some of the best, and that's what they did, so I, did the same when my guys went. And if you go and watch the fucking... if you watch that riot scene, my boys earned it, and girls, they all earned it. They earned it, man.
That's for sure.
So, digging deeper.
Yeah.
We are going to dig deeper here. Steph Infection.
Well, let's start off with, I guess we had Bill Moseley first, but he's like a Nazi, but he wasn't. He was like Hitler's first hand.
Yeah, but he doesn't come until the end. We don't start with him. The first thing we get is the farm, and we get Tony Todd on the farm.
I thought
Remember the beginning of the movie?
Yeah,
you get Tony Todd on the farm.
Bill was
and that
listed
whole
first in the credits, so I thought that was first.
I think maybe we heard his voice.
Maybe. Okay, so Tony Todd, though, that part I was like.
Tony Todd, yeah. Then we start with the farm.
And like he's putting like black gook on her, and there's people screaming downstairs, but he starts
downstairs. They're in the middle of the desert. In the middle of the fucking they're screaming downstairs. There's people screaming downstairs, Tony Todd. What's going on? In the middle of the fucking desert.
What are they down? They're down.
I'm really confused now because they're downstairs in the desert. No, they're in the middle. They're in like some fucking wasteland. Yeah, and there's like a sewer grate, and you hear voices, and he's got her next to it, and he's like, and he's telling her, "Don't worry, you're not going there. That's not where you're going. They're going someplace worse. You're going to the farm." And
but he said something about like Venus flytraps.
Yeah, I raised Venus flytraps.
I was like, why? I don't get it. Do they don't have? I was like, maybe they don't have tar.
Maybe that's how he got her though. He like lured her in as a Venus flytrap.
Oh, maybe that was a metaphor. Nobody will understand.
Because there's none of this that gets explained.
But he does reach into her stomach
and takes out. Oh yeah, that whole part. Because he's the farmer, he could just reach into stomachs and take out pituitary gland. I don't know what the fuck it was. What the fuck was he taking out? In his head? I don't know what the fuck it is. All right, he's taking her ovary out. I don't know what the fuck he was taking out. Did he take her belly button off? What the fuck was it? I don't even know what the fuck happened.
It looked like an appendix. Like it literally looked like this.
Is that what it was? I don't know.
Or like a little piece of colon. It was like a little squiggly thing. I was like,
a piece of colon? Yes. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Who takes a little piece of colon? Ew, Tony Todd, you freak. I'm not gonna take a little piece of your colon. Ugh. You don't need that.
I can't right now. I can't.
That's good colon.
I said it looked like an appendix because it was like all little and.
Hey man, I don't know what the fuck it was. His hand went in her stomach, his hand came out of her stomach, it glowed a little bit, and her stomach was fine with just a little crusty blood on it.
But that happens a lot through the movie, but I thought we should know why that happens.
Nothing is explained in this. There is no explanations. And when they do explain something, they over-explain it
my
to the
God.
point where you're like, I think I'm more confused now that you've actually explained it. You've explained it, and now I am not only more confused, I feel dumber.
Yes. I do feel dumber now.
I do. I've watched that movie, and
I think my giddiness is showing. I feel dumber. Yep, that's.
And I don't think there's enough weed in the universe to be high enough for this to make sense. I'm sorry.
Did it help you?
Sorry to everybody that I work with on this movie.
Oh, they got.
Sorry, but you gotta understand, it's a turd.
Well,
it's mostly a turd.
I think everyone knows that.
Some of them just be like that. Sometimes you just get a paycheck.
Yeah, but you got to
this job is, man.
You got to work with some of your favorite people.
It was a great experience. I loved it. But the finished product, hey, man, I worked on Avatar: The Last Airbender, and that shit was a turd too. So, man, even the best, even M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong mails in a turd every once in a while.
Yeah, I'm hit or miss with him. Yeah, I'm hit or miss with him.
Yeah, we won't go off on that tangent, but I worked on that one too. I had a blast working on it. It was a great experience. Got a nice big paycheck on it, but whew, that shit sucked fucking ball sacks.
Can we say which one?
Which
one did it? Oh,
Last Airbender.
Yeah, you said it. And that was...
Last Airbender. She was awful.
Yeah.
Awful. So anyway, we start off with this fucking farm nonsense, and then we get introduced to the... and then we meet Toria Boone, and we go to our flashback. We meet her. She's sitting in her car, and she's thinking about...
No, they showed the scene with Cody
she's flashing back to that scene.
Oh,
she's sitting in the car.
She's flashing back.
Thinking. Yeah, this is why everything is so like...
That's right, you are correct.
Because she's sitting in a car, in a big black SUV, waiting for Kane to be put into the car, and she's thinking about her sting operation where she busted Kane, the neo-Nazi leader, and she had to kill the mom and son, which was my son, and also in that movie, not only Cody, but our casting director, Miss Gina Martino.
And wardrobe.
Yes. And has done some production assistant.
Casting,
Martino casting, yes. Shout out to our friend Gina. And she plays Cody's mom and Kane's wife, or baby mama at least.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so Kane has them killed, executed.
Yes.
But
like he wanted it to happen.
Yeah, because then he says resurrection.
The
resurrection's written on the wall because it's real subtle. This movie's real subtle.
Yeah.
And
okay.
And that's the whole thing is later on he's going to resurrect him, and he's mastered. That's why he can't die later when the whole thing when he finds the 5 evils and all that. We're jumping ahead here, but yes,
wait, because he had somebody kill his mom and son.
Well, Cody comes back from the dead.
I know, but how does that make Kane?
Kane mastered the resurrection too, because he says at the end he's been following them and studying and learning, and he's now immortal. I don't know how exactly it makes him immortal, okay?
Oh, he did. I think he resurrected in that after the fight scene.
Maybe he did. Maybe he did some kind of ceremony on him and his kid and everything, and then he killed the kid as a test to see if it would work. And it worked. And then he knew that he was immortal too.
See? Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm filling in the blanks for you, Harrison.
I am so confused. I told you, I'm really confused by a lot of this.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll fill in the blanks for you, Harrison.
I don't know, because there's a lot of it that you were like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck was going on through a lot of it either. So, all right. So, then we meet Kane, and we see for the first time, I think I said something. Didn't I say there's one of my first pet peeves? Did I give you my first pet peeve on that one?
You may have. I don't remember.
Yeah. So here, I'll give you one of my... We're going to have little rants.
I feel like it was forever ago.
We're going to have little rants here, because now as Kane walks to the fucking... to the truck to be put in, he's escorted by guards.
Oh, yes.
Who are holding their guns up in the air like this and holding the fucking guns all wrong because they're fucking extras. And this was one of my this drove me insane, man. This was a pet peeve of mine because I work in stunts and I work with a lot of ex-military guys and I work in film and we want to be realistic in film. So we're constantly striving for realism and we want shit to look accurate. And when we do, I've just got done telling you how I went and trained these fucking actors how to hold their fucking guns, how to move, how to dip your fucking muzzle as you pass behind your fucking partner and do all this shit and how to tactically come around and corner a fucking room and do all this stuff. And I spent days working with them, and I spent days with my stunt guys, and we go over, and all my stunt guys, they know. They'll give me push-ups if I fucking catch the fucking chicken wing out or some shit. When they're fucking holding the rifle, I'll kill them. I'll drop and give me 20, dude. It's with that fucking chicken wing. And so we did a bunch of days, and then stunts had off. And they shot a bunch of shit with extras that they put
clearly
in the fucking guard uniforms. And these motherfuckers, and I wasn't there, they didn't call me, they didn't have nobody come on, they couldn't even had like one random prison guard just stand there and be like, yeah, he's holding his gun wrong. You should probably hold it, muzzle down, dude, muzzle down. And nope. What they did was they just let the extras hold the guns however the fuck they wanted. So when I get the next day...
And then they just dropped them at one point, too, very bizarrely.
The whole thing was this was like this. I was so mad. The next day, after my first day off, I'm out relaxing and I'm taking and just enjoying the day and prepping a little bit for our following week's shoot. But I see production stills being posted to the Facebook page and the social media, and it's extras holding their fucking guns up and pointing muzzles at each other and fucking pointing them up in the air and elbows out. And I'm just like, oh my fucking God, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? Don't put those, what the fuck? I was so mad.
Do you think?
Because you have to understand... People watch these movies, and my name is on this fucking thing as the stunt coordinator.
You're the first thing, yep.
I'm responsible for anybody holding weapons, and that's all me. I'm supposed to be fucking there, and I'm supposed to even prop dummy weapons. I should be there and making sure that people look legit, not walking around like they're some fucking wahoo redneck. Yeehaw! Shooting a fucking shit in the air. No, man. No, Billy Bob. We muzzle fucking down, elbow in. Fuck!
Because I haven't heard this before. I'm so glad all of you
my God. This one motherfucker was like this.
Yeah, it was very...
Like up in his chin.
I don't know how that
holding
worked.
Elbow. Oh my God. I could not believe it. I could not fucking believe it.
It's really something.
All right, moving on. Fuck, man. So yeah, they get him in.
Next few times we see guns, I swear they're actually good.
Yeah, well, the stunt guys are holding them. Yeah, we know how to hold our guns.
And if you know, if you've seen this, it's when they're parading down the hallway, and it's very obvious. Yeah, very obvious.
So yeah, they get Kane delivered to the fucking death house. We get introduced to the death house. We meet our Jay Novak character, meets up with Courtney Palm, and they're like the hot young agents, pew pew, and they just graduated the academy, pew pew, and they're ready to take on the world, pew pew.
You can literally pew pew anything.
It makes it all better.
Always.
It makes it so much better.
When I'm mad, you just pew pew, and I start laughing. Pew, pew. When they actually explained what the death house was, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Mm-hmm. I liked the concept and the little 3D kind of these are layers.
There were some cool graphics, but they look like an 80s video game.
Yeah. Yes, but I appreciated that at first. Except later I didn't appreciate that still happening.
It made sense because this was like an old facility. So when you see they do this virtual tour and they put the goggles on and they see all the facility, it takes them to different rooms and
But I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh, the concept of what the death house is made sense. So there's 9 levels, she said?
9 levels.
Yes.
So yeah, we meet Dr. Eileen Fletcher, Dee Wallace, and
Yes.
she's the one that gives the tour. So, and Dee does a lot of the heavy lifting in this one, and Dee is awesome, but I feel like she kind of was like,
She wasn't her best.
yeah, maybe mailing this one in a little bit. Because in some of the scenes, there's just so much dialogue, and it's so much exposition and talking to set up what's going to happen out here. And a lot of it was pointless. There was a lot of it that just wasn't needed. You didn't need to go into that much, I felt like. There was just so much. And there was just so much like heavy-handed, like philosophical, trying to be like deep thinking and stuff in there. And you're just like, oh my God. Like
The whole concept of this movie, I liked. But I was like, they didn't do it.
It didn't fulfill it, right?
Yeah.
Right. So the concept really at the core is this, not only is it a prison that houses these serial killers, but they study them, and through these 3D rooms, they take like homeless people, and this all gets explained through the course of the movie. We're going to give it to you now.
Oh my God.
In like
No,
a
because I
minute,
can't- please
because I
don't.
wish they would have just given us this at the beginning, and then had the rest of it been the big riot, fight, everything else going on, instead of giving us little bits and pieces, which weren't really little bits. That's the problem. Like,
when they were introducing each level, kind of, it was like its own thing and its own story, and like even
right, but each little it
makes
was like
sense.
Right, throughout the movie, they give little bits, but the little bits, they give you a little bit of information, but they do it in a lot of information. Like they give you a lot of information, but they only give you a little bit of it that actually fucking matters.
And you're picking like,
You're like, well, what matters? What am I supposed to be? What's supposed to matter here? There's so much coming at me right now. You know, like when we watch a movie, there's certain things like when we watched the thing with the cinnamon, okay? That little foreshadowing and the cinnamon, and we learn a little bit about what arsenic or the fucking rat poison smells like. It smells like cinnamon. So later on, hey, why does the soup taste like cinnamon? Do-do-do-do. Okay, that was cobweb, right?
yes.
Yeah, cobweb.
So if you missed that one, sorry about that.
Yeah, be careful. It's all right. But that was a spoiler for Cobweb. Fuck it. Go watch it. Good fucking movie. But it's like you set that up early, and then you deliver on it later, and you have your payout. But there was all this fucking. It seemed like there was just set up. Ooh, this bit of information. This is coming at you. This is coming at you. Okay, where's the payoff? And then there might be one payoff for one thing.
So like, okay, so just for instance, like there's this room of all these homeless, and they're like zombies. Like they're basically like brainwashed, and they're trying to explain at the end of it that they pretty much make them do whatever they want, I think, but it's to a point where they're talking and talking and talking, and I was losing focus, and then they just rip two girls' shirts off and show that they have good boobs.
Big boobs.
And I was like,
bigger boobs or some shit. He's just like, boobs.
Like that's what they literally say. And I was like, wait, what? And then what was the point of that?
And it could have been like such a great scene, because like the idea behind it is that, again, you're studying these serial killers, so these serial killers have a certain type that they like to kill, and they have certain scenarios that they have carried out. So they take these scenarios and then they want victims that look like their previous victims. So
we
it
get that with
triggers
Sid in
the
the
serial
beginning,
killer.
kind of.
Yeah,
when
we
he's
get a
in the
little bit.
picnic. You know,
Right.
and he's got, so now,
But that's the thing, but we get a little bit here and a little bit there, and then by the end,
I swear I did not put all that together until you just said it out loud. I did not put that homeless thing. I didn't understand
nothing
any of
makes
it.
sense until.
And then the three Satans.
I've watched it like 4 times.
I like that. See, I like the three Satans, because they're like, oh, they're crazy. They all think they're Satan. Okay, and they went in. It was kind of cool. But then I was
the dialogue is just so ridiculous.
And they let one go at the end. And it was Mark Wagner, right? Like behind the mask.
Yeah,
but I was like, which we'll talk about, but I was like, wait, we never just see him again. Like, I don't know.
No, he comes down later, but you only see him so briefly. He's the one that frees the 5 evils. He goes down, and remember I said he was supposed to have that, there was going to be a contortionist thing, and lasers. It was originally written as lasers. Excuse me.
But I don't,
So.
Okay. But I don't remember seeing him again, but okay.
Yeah. At any rate, we can talk about some of the kills and stuff, and some of the fun Easter eggs and some of my work in this one.
Yeah, let's just do that, because that's the only good stuff.
So let's talk about our Leatherlace shout out, because in that scene, Dee Wallace is kind of introducing our young agents to different characters, and this would be, I guess, where they would introduce Leatherface, but you can't have Leatherface, so you have Leatherlace, who is like a Leatherface but a female version, played by Debbie Rochon, horror icon. And in the scene, she's in a room, and she's got a chainsaw, and she's got the face on, and she's got the apron, and there's blood everywhere, and in the chair is her victim, and the victim's played by one of my stunt guys, Mr. Chris Dyer.
Oh, and who else is Chris Dyer?
Chris Dyer is also a producer, and also he's the Big Daddy-O on Deadsville Rock and Roll Mysteries.
Yeah.
So shout out to our friend Chris Dyer.
Yes.
He took one for the team in this scene because we were filming in Holmesburg Prison in Philadelphia. And if you're familiar, it's an old rundown prison. They do, I think it housed Al Capone for a little bit. It was one of the places that housed him.
One of them.
While he was here, they bounced him around a little bit, I guess. But
I need to do a tour there.
But they shoot a lot of music videos there. It's one of the things that's in Philadelphia for rent, and it's one of the
really cool.
The places that you can rent and shoot and use as a set. And I think it was used in 5 Monkeys. 12 Monkeys. 12 Monkeys with the Bruce Willis one. I think they used it in that one.
I don't know. Maybe
it's been used in a bunch of Philadelphia movies. At any rate, that's where we were, and. So they come to us and they're like, "Hey, can we use a stunt guy? One of you stunt guys want to be a victim for our Leatherface, and you just gotta, get bloody. Just gotta be in a chair, and we're gonna tie you to the chair, and you're gonna get bloody." And that's the scene. And so Chris is in his tighty whities and he leaves in tighty whities and a white wife beater, and that's it. He's all he's wearing. They take him up, and we're downstairs, and we're just like, okay, we're just waiting and holding, and in the stunt section, we're just hanging out. By crafty, eating. That's what stunt people do when we're not working.
Yeah.
Eat a lot of crafty. And eventually, we hear a cut, and then here on the walkies, Chris is walking. He's on the way back down. He comes down, and this motherfucker was covered from head to toe in blood. Just blood layers and fucking caked on blood. The shirt bloody, the underwear bloody, just blood everywhere. And he comes back, and he's just like smiling. He's like, fucking bloody. And then we're like, all right, they got showers over here. They got showers. And
I was going to say, was he in the fight scene too?
Yeah.
Scene?
He was he was one of our guards later in the fight scene. We used him. But he got bloody in this one, and they had showers they were actually the old prison showers that you would use. And he was like, oh yeah, you use a shower, but they only have cold water.
Oh yeah.
So he had to take had to take a cold shower.
You owed him big time.
Blood. Yeah. That was
Mm.
Well, I hired him and got him hired on many a thing.
No, I
know.
know.
I always take care of my people that do right by me, and that was a big one for Chris to step up on. That was like one of our early days of shooting, and. When you're a first-time coordinator working with a director in a production company for the first time, you want to make a good impression. You want to do, give them a little bit. You want them to hire you again. They've never hired me again. Still waiting for that sequel or anything else, Harrison, that you got. You need some stunts on? Let me know. But yeah, that was Chris taking one for the team and getting bloody, and then taking a cold shower afterwards.
Oh. Poor Chris.
Yeah. So then we have like so I guess after this they're still doing like the tour, and we see Sid Haig in that one scene with Cody Longo goes to Sid, and that guy didn't get that either. He's just standing there in virtual reality stabbing people with ice picks.
I actually got that one out of all of them. I think I got that one.
When he's don't trust what's going on. And
they said that they're keeping all these serial killers kind of in this VR atmosphere where they're happy. There's enough gas, you need to know that there's gas kind of flowing that's keeping them happy. And I thought it was like virtual reality people that they were killing. It's just a virtual reality atmosphere, but they're sending in these homeless people, to kill them. But he notices that, what's his name? Yeah, Cody
Longo.
Is
Jay Novak, Agent Jay Novak.
That's the only other way. Yeah, I've never seen the way that yours is spelled.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
I
Jay
don't
was
see
in that other movie that I just did the bicycling stunts
Oh, really?
coordinating on too. Yeah, that was the character was Jay, Jae. Yes, Jay Novak in this spells his name Jae, just like I spelled Jae Greene, Jae Greene.
I know, and I don't.
And it was
see
Jay
it
on the recent New York shoot that I did coordinating some bicycling traffic stunts. The character we were doubling was named Jay in that as well. It's pretty common in Korea to be named Jae.
I know. What? Except you. What?
Mine stems from being Jamie, and
makes sense.
just took out the MI.
Yeah. Makes sense. Except when I order you cameos from certain other stuntmen.
And they pronounce it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, so yeah, we see the whole thing with Sid, and that's kind of confusing because there's like.
I think it just showed what it looks like in all these cells. Like it was that moment.
Yeah, it was kind of giving you a little bit and kind of questioning, letting you know that there was something up with Cody, I guess, as well, and that the agents might not. Everything isn't what it seems.
You're here for a reason, kind of thing. He said, "You like what I'm doing."
There's more than meets the eye here. It's a transforming motherfucker. But, all right, so then we cut at one point to outside the prison on the perimeter, and we have our guard.
Oh yeah,
The guard is walking the perimeter. Just
by
one
himself.
guard by himself. Because
well, he's talking on the radio. He sees there's a bloody handkerchief.
I just want to come back for a second, though, because we just come back to he's walking the perimeter by himself. Because I think originally it was written that there were two. I will give this because that's just a dumb fucking. I'm just like, why this guy would never be walking a perimeter by himself. You would never send out one fucking.
Not at the serial killer.
Right at the death house.
The death house.
No, you've got to have a partner, man. Come on. So, all right. At any rate, I believe if I remember correctly, there was two of them, and this scene was supposed to be two of them being encountered by my son playing a Nazi zombie child killer at this point.
Yes.
And he was going to kill both of them. And he gets shot and caught up in the barbed wire. That's how it originally happens. They catch him and they shoot him, and he gets caught in the barbed wire, and then he gets out. And while they're looking for him, he gets the jump on them and kills both of them.
Did you actually shoot all that?
We didn't shoot any of that.
Oh, I was going to say, why would they leave that out?
Yeah, we didn't shoot any of that. Instead, they were like, we're just going to do one and Yeah, because originally that was. You'll notice that I am not in this movie at all.
Yes.
Usually I will take a stunt part, especially because as the coordinator, I get paid a certain rate, and we're always trying to save budget. So I usually be like, hey, I'll double for somebody too, or I'll jump in and be a guard, or I'll jump in and do something. So actually what was supposed to happen, what we originally discussed was me being the second guard, and Cody was going to kill me as well on camera.
I think you told me. I remember you told me this.
My son was supposed to kill me and the other guard. And the other guard was an actor who they flew in from L.A., who was friends with like the family and stuff and the producers. The producers there are certain actors in here, and he actually wasn't bad, but there's certain actors in here who weren't that great, who were like friends of the producers and stuff that they just brought in. Some were better than others, but that's how you get these low-budget movies made. That's how you get these indie movies made. Sometimes you got to you see it all the time. Hey, you want to have part of my movie, and you contribute $500 to my Kickstarter, and I'll give you a producer credit and a line in the movie. And then you see, like in this random movie, somebody has no idea how to act and say it, but that's probably why, man.
That's how we make stuff.
That's how you get stuff made. That's how you have to do it sometimes. I'm not going to hate.
No.
I'm not hating, because we got,
We do stuff too.
Absolutely. So, but yeah, so in this scene, it was supposed to be me and this actor.
I remember
and Cody was supposed to kill both of us, and that was going to be my appearance in the film. So I never had anything else. So we were pressed for time, and everything, stuff gets cut, and they wound up that's what had happened was they had cut the entire thing of Cody actually killing him. It became just him walking the perimeter, And he's, I think we have skunks in the dumpster again. And he walks over to the dumpster and he opens the dumpster and we see Cody look up. And he's holding a knife and rah! And that's it. That's all
Well,
we see.
you see it like a VR view almost. What was that?
I don't know.
Did he have a helmet on?
I guess he had night vision they go to. Yeah, I don't even, maybe
I think
maybe
it fell down
maybe it was
over his face.
No. I don't know. Maybe it was like him, like it's the camera that he's communicating with.
Well, he had a helmet on, so I was thinking maybe the thing fell.
Well, they have the main hub, the main communication hub that they show a few times.
Oh.
So, and there's all kinds of screens. So it could have been, that's what I'm thinking is, it's like somebody in there, again, I'm filling in the blanks for you, Harrison, don't worry.
I think maybe he had something in his eye.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Technology at the death house.
Well, you just see Cody, killing him.
No, you don't even see that. No. First, you just see Cody jump up.
Yeah.
And then it cuts.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to that. And that's where we originally just ended it. We didn't have time on the day to do anything else. We had already filmed that day the scene with the doctor with, this is Lloyd Kaufman's cameo in the movie. Lloyd Kaufman plays the doctor who, once this guy, Cody then knifes the guy up, rips his stomach open, and you see him pull out this blinking ball and put it inside the guy's guts.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to Lloyd Kaufman with the guy on the operating table. Oh man, don't take his shirt off. That's the only thing holding them together. And then he's like, there's something electronic in his abdomen. Did they put his? Did they shove his radio up his ass or something?
Yeah, what was it?
I hope Lloyd fucking ad-libbed that, because that's the kind of stuff that was like one of the funnier lines in the movie. That would be perfect. It was the EMP device that goes off, and they don't. Yeah. It's so hard to follow.
It.
They do show it.
Do they?
He's like, I almost got it. But that whole scene where Cody stabs up the dude, and it's all on it. That was all a reshoot that happened later.
Oh.
They had to call us back. They called Cody back for a reshoot, and actually shot it without me. I was back in Atlanta working and couldn't come back, so my mom had to drive Cody to a shoot. And this was just shot in some random backyard in like Conshohocken, I think she had to drive him to. And then just like a camera like looking down, like the view of Cody, and just him being like and spraying blood at him, stabbing a fake body, and then ripping out guts and shoving the fucking thing in.
So that makes sense, actually.
So they figured, he must have gone back and be like, we really. They need an explanation for the EMP being inside him, because that's what makes the electricity go out. That's what triggers the whole blackout, is the EMP.
I thought that, but I was like,
yeah. Don't worry, Harrison. I'm explaining the movie to people for you. I got it. They're understanding now.
Arrow. I'm still lost. All right. Okay, so now there's some type of device.
So the EMP was in the guts.
So he needs a zombie child to do this.
He puts it in. That was all part of the plan. I'm
going to kill my child.
This was all part of Cain's plan to free and appease the 5 evils. Because that's what they tell you now, too. During this, you find out that the worst of the worst, the 5 evils, are at the bottom, the 9th circle of fucking hell.
9th circle, that takes very long.
We'll get there. We're not even there yet. So they're down the bottom, and that's where they are, and they can't be killed, and they're just like, they're the evilest of the evil.
And they go through what they've all done,
what each one
in
is.
The beginning, so.
They try and create this mythos for each one, but you don't give a shit about any, really, because it's not actually, Jason or fucking Michael or any of the.
Some of them even confused me.
Yeah, I kind of understood. I didn't know. I don't know. There's a lot of Nazis. There's big on Nazis.
Yeah.
Bill.
We all
Bill's
hate
a
Nazis, right?
Yeah. It's also Bill. Shout out to Bill Moseley. He plays like the leader, Geiger, right? Is that what it is? Geiger.
Geiger. Yeah.
And he's like he's a Nazi demonologist person as well, who was like. Big into all this stuff, and he's like the leader of the 5 evils. We learn.
Well, when we get to what he says, though.
Bill Moseley, also a character coming up on Deadsville Rock and Roll Mysteries.
What? No way.
Episode 3. Once we finally get there, once we get this thing rolling again.
Yes, we will.
We're going to get the pilot done soon and get it out there. Don't worry. Mm-hmm. All right. Anyway, keeping this show rolling though.
Yeah. So I'm lost. Go on. Still lost. So it's over here.
They get the EMP. Well, we meet all the evils.
Well, all the lights go off.
So now the plan is, the Nazi boy plans the EMP. EMP goes off as Lloyd's pulling it out. All the lights go out. Our agents and and Dee Wallace are trapped in the elevator, of course.
Can I, real quick, before this happens, can I just talk about one part that I really didn't understand? I thought it was just, okay, so they're in the shower, both of them together.
Oh, yeah,
just totally naked. Just
two agents that just met.
Just met.
And they're going to shower.
And I was like, are they going to, like, they're not, but they're not flirting. It's completely, but it's a lot of touching and a lot of boobs showing and everything. But they're really talking about, they're zoning in on all their tattoos. Like, she's like, where'd you get that one? And he's like, where'd you get that? What's it mean?
I don't know.
But it's a lot of like, but it's, instead of just one and being like, you know what? I don't remember even getting this. I don't remember anything. I don't remember our class.
Right.
I don't remember. They did it. It was the longest shower scene. And listen, I like naked people. I like seeing boobies.
I think there was a sex scene that they cut.
I feel like it should have gotten there, and I was like,
I'm pretty sure there was a sex scene. I vaguely remember a sex scene that they cut. That was one of the. There was some stuff that was cut in this one. The one that we watched on Tubi is the rated version. Oh. It's a theatrical cut. I'm pretty sure.
But she says, "Oh, are you asking me if I'm single?" And he's like, "I wouldn't care anyway." So I was like, "Oh, here they go. They're
okay,
gonna."
Chad.
And then she just like puts her towel on and leaves. And I was like, "We just caressed our boobs and our butt." I mean, it was the longest shower. Like, he would have been done within 5 minutes. Like, you're not showering that long. It was the longest.
It was a very
shower.
awkward thing for two strangers that just met to just shower together. And then just
5 of his tattoos and 3 of hers.
Yeah. But also they talk about not remembering their class, not remembering how they don't remember anything. That was the point of the scene, was that they don't remember anything. But it just, again, it takes so long, and there's so much information, like the tattoos, and there's never any payoff to it. Like, okay, there's payoff to, we don't remember our class. At least. We don't remember our class. We don't remember graduating. We don't remember, like, 1 or 2 things. I don't remember too much. I'm a little foggy on this. I'm a little foggy on that. But the way they go, like you said, with the tattoos and going so many on them, they're like, there must be some meaning to these tattoos that we're going to find out later.
Because he's like, I drew them. And I was like, oh, you drew them.
But I don't remember, right? He says,
and she goes, Marigold. I don't know who Marigold is. And I'm like, are we going to find out who Marigold is?
And I don't
You never find out who Marigold is.
No, and it might have been something that's planned, because there was a plan.
For a next one, I guess.
So this movie was supposed to set up 5 movies. 5 sequels.
No.
This was the plan.
Holy shit.
This was the plan. This was what I was pitched. At the time, I was pitched, and you get to coordinate all of the sequels. So I was pitched that this one would be the one to launch the 5 evils, and then there would be a movie for each evil being tracked down and caught by Courtney Palm and Cody Longo, the agents. So that was the plan. That's why it ends the way it does. And
we got to find
Courtney and Cody are like rehabilitated serial killers too that have gone through the program. Spoiler alert.
It doesn't matter.
You get that? Yeah. They cut so much out. It's hard.
Wait, who's rehabilitated?
Oh, we'll get there.
Wait.
Our agents are actually
serial killers.
They're they're actually serial killers. Yes.
I figured
they're actually inmates who've been rehabbed, I guess, and so that's another thing that's going on here that they don't like fully explain. So and this is another thing that's like very confusing. Oh man, here we go.
God.
So you have these rooms where they're studying serial killers, right? And I guess, okay, you're studying serial killers so that you can do this next part. I guess it's the second phase. So the first phase is you study them and you have them kill these homeless people and reenact and see these things and get...
See what...
Makes them tick.
We're
making them tick. So then we gotta... Then there's like this, what do they call it? They call it transhumanism.
Yeah, what was that?
Transhumanism.
I remember that word.
All right? And look, man, I'm not trying to be woke. I'm not trying to be unwoke. I'm not trying to be anything like that. This is like, I don't know what the hell they meant by this.
It meant they said...
Transhumanism, from what I understand, was like, it was like brainwashing, but not brainwashing. Because that's what he says. He's like, so like brainwashing. Yeah. Not brainwashing. Transhumanism. And then they don't really explain what the fuck that means.
I think...
It's like reprogramming, though, is what I'm getting, because they show scenes with Sieg, Kane's character. Now, he's been captured, and he's going through, like, the virtual reality... hypnotism, fucking like reprogramming thing, just sitting there in this VR thing. And
well, we do find out that the goal is to have a more perfect society. So they're going to
yeah, the end goal.
You know, the serial
world
killers, all the evil people, they can reprogram and send them out into transhuman means just. It's just a plane. It's a plane.
Everybody's just flat.
Like
human.
transverse.
Oh, I thought it meant transitional. What the fuck does trans mean? I don't know. Transhumanism. What the fuck does that? I don't know.
I was thinking transverse.
I don't want to ask too many questions because somebody might
like
cancel
more
me.
parallel. You're thinking of it in.
I know, but I'm just saying the word, and somebody could just be like, cancel him.
Jesus, no.
He said the word.
Oh my God.
And he didn't say something positive afterwards.
No.
Well, I'm just confused with what this all means. It's like hypnotism, brainwashing. He's like bombarded with images, and like it's gonna like
it's making them
reprogram them and make them docile and good. Like that's their
parallel human. That would probably make more like here's their human. It's a different.
I mean,
human.
I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to fix them. With this fucking brainwashing that they're doing. They're trying to study them and then correct whatever's wrong with them, I guess, is what there's going on? Is that what
they're trying to make a more perfect society.
Well, right. That's what, but at the end of the movie, here
evil.
comes the big ending spoiler, because we're just jumping around
Yeah,
now.
because we have
Bill
to.
Moseley, as our Geiger, reveals that these people, is it an organization? But there's a bunch of death houses everywhere. There's death houses all over. And he says that they are trying to create these transhuman race where there's no good and no evil.
If there's no evil, then there's no good.
Nothing.
But when they first go down there, after they go, it takes them about, 25 minutes of the movie to get down the elevator shaft to get down there.
We're going to come back to that one. Don't worry.
We're gonna, because I need
I just
to keep
wanted to
it.
address this thing with
No, but when they first walk down there, he says something like, I am God. And he says, I'm the good and the evil.
Yeah, and there's stuff about, there's all kinds of like.
So I was like, wait, are you God?
God is this and God is
like
that.
He's the wrath, like the Old Testament God. That's what I thought he meant.
Yeah, I don't know.
But then he's like, look, we're not the bad ones. And he was like, oh, but actual God, why didn't you start praying? Why'd you come down here for help? And I was like, oh, shit, all right.
The big heavy-handed thing here, the message is without evil there is no good. Mm-hmm. And if you try and like homogenize everybody with brainwashing and making everybody just the
conform,
make everybody your idea of good, then there is no good and evil. Then there is nothing. It's just...
Which I actually liked. I liked everything when I saw that. I was like, I felt like I actually understood more in the movie when I was listening.
Right,
to the
and
ending.
I get it. And I
to
get
the
that.
ending, I
but
got
it. Was right, but it was just so much exposition to get there. And I'm a fan of show, don't tell. I mean, the movie is a show. It's just fucking...
It's a lot of telling.
It's a lot of telling.
My brain
a lot
hurt.
of telling.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of talking in this. And it could have been just, I wish they, like this thing could have been built for camp. I felt like it just took itself too seriously and tried to get too deep into the science of it and trying to give it too much of a realistic background. It should have just dove into the camp, because I felt like really what this movie wanted to do was just bring a bunch of fucking horror people together.
It could have been such
And if that's what we're doing, then just do a simple script.
It could have just been a cool, like there's 9 levels. This is what we do at each level. That could have been one scene and done. And they could have showed you a couple examples, but instead, what they did was give a very basic, introduction to what the death house is. And then they tried to explain each level and room by showing... And
not showing anything. They would show somebody talking.
Yeah,
they would go to a character and they would talk for 10 minutes.
Oh, and then at one point they're hiding because after the riot scene and everything.
Oh God, yeah.
Which they go and they run away and they hide in this room and it looks like she's like, oh, there should be 9 in there, and they're looking and it's like corpses that are kind of melted.
Awesome practical effects.
I thought it was really cool
awesome
looking.
practical effects. Screaming corpses.
With a microphone right in front of it. I was like, that's kind of cool. Maybe it's scaring the rest of them. I don't know what it was for, but that was cool.
I will say they cut out the fucking skull fuck monster.
Yeah, you told me
There was a skull fuck monster in there they cut out. They had the one eating the baby was still in there. The one eating the baby corpse was still
You can't see him. He's acting out the skull.
Fucking corpse. Yeah.
Okay. Settle down. Settle down.
Come on, man. I like a little skull fucking. In my horror. Come on. We're pushing envelopes here.
No comment.
This is Death House, baby. We're going all the way with skull fucking.
Okay. Anyway, where was I? Now you got me all flustered.
Flustered from the skull fucking. So yeah, the creatures are in the thing.
Oh, yes.
And then they're just in there hanging out for a little bit.
Well, they're slow moving, it seems like, or they're not really. And she goes, "Oh, we'll go in here because they don't really want to leave." And they say at one point, "We don't want to leave," until 5 minutes goes by, and then they're like, "Hey, let me come after you," and they're like, "Let's get out of here." And I was like,
"Fuck this, let's get out of here." They kick out the door. And
I was
run
like,
out.
"Wait, what?"
Why
They
are
said
we
that they
in
were
there?
safe in there, even though they were scary.
Yep.
One of them decided he was still hungry after eating that baby. I think they just wanted to show those special effects. They probably spent all this money, and it was probably like a longer scene, and then they just cut it. It didn't fit. The whole thing didn't fit. But it was like you created all these,
Well, one of the rules of storytelling and filmmaking is if it doesn't move the plot forward, cut it out, edit it out. If it doesn't serve the purpose of moving your plot ahead, then it doesn't matter. Cut it out.
They could have used that whole scene.
There was a lot of that in this.
Just as as she's talking about the death house, like showing them and what they're that would have been cool too.
No, there was some stuff in there.
They didn't have to have them hiding and act like they were safe for a long time, and then just a couple seconds later, not safe.
Run! And then all of a sudden they're running from the fucking. I know that was when they first came up out of the elevator. Let's go over some more fucking.
Oh, God.
All right, so we got our Dyer off the list there. We got our Cody kills scene. Oh yeah. Let's give a shout out to. So before the power goes out, we have our two guards, or our power's starting to go out. The two guards grab Kane and are bringing him back to back to his cell.
Yeah.
And shout out to my stuntman Anthony Hong.
Yeah.
Anthony's one of the guards. He's the Asian guard in the helmet. He has a couple lines. They asked for a guard who wanted to do some dialogue, and Anthony was like, "I'll do some dialogue." Yeah, go get it, dude. Go get it. And they took him, and he had a nice little fucking, nice little co-star role in there. Nice little speaking role. And so him and one of the producers was also one of the guards in this scene, and they're in Kane's face, and they're fiddling with his hooks, and all of a sudden the hooks shoot out into the eye.
That was cool. Yeah. That was cool.
And Anthony made Kane's kill list.
Oh yeah.
Yep. The Kane Hodder kill list. Anthony is on it.
Very cool.
So, and good job there by him. Anthony also helped with some of the high falls and some of the other stuff. He was also in a bunch of the riot scene as well, getting chucked around. We doubled him in there. Just didn't see his face. It's the beauty of stunts.
Yeah.
Trying to hide your face as much as possible.
There you go.
So yeah, great job there by Anthony. And then I guess we can get to the riot scene.
Yeah, we should.
Let's talk about the riot scene.
It was fun. You talk about it.
So the riot scene, we had a full-scale prison riot we had to do, and with a very small budget, tiny budget. So we could afford like 25 stunt people. So I had, maybe 30. I don't know. And we had a bunch of extras on the day as well. But extras can't do anything stunty. They can only run, not even run. They can only just kind of move around in the background. Yeah. No falling, no engaging, no nothing. They can just go and run from point A to point B. That's it. Scream, yell, hold this weapon like you're going to hit somebody, don't hit anybody. So we got a bunch of them in there. We got a bunch of stunt guys. We're in the dark, flashlights only. We got certain people on the sides, out of camera view, shining flashlights where we need them. Harrison, every day that you're on set, I'm gonna let you all in on something. Here's a secret. And this is almost every fucking movie that I've ever been on. Every single day, you're behind. You're behind. You're always behind. You are never on schedule. I don't think I've ever been on a production where we've been on schedule. Yeah, we're on right on time for our last shot. Never. It never fucking happens. We're always running behind. They always think they're going to get more than they really can. I get it, and then you always want the perfect shot, the retakes, and fucking the dialogue got stepped on, shoot it again. The soft focus, shoot it again. There's a lot of retakes. There's a lot of time spent on dialogue. They want the perfect delivery, and no offense, I get it. The emotion is what's going to sell the movie. The acting is what's going to sell the movie. So you want to make sure you nail that stuff. And they give plenty of time to acting, plenty of time to dialogue. And then when it's time for the stunts, they're like, all right, I need you guys to nail this in like one take.
Yeah.
Because we're fucking running behind. So let's get these fucking stunts going. And you're just like, okay, it's only people's safety on the line here. It's not like somebody could die from dialogue, so let's rush the stunts. Let's do that. So yeah, that's usually what we get, and as usual on this one, now I will say he didn't really rush the stunts, but
They should have rushed some of that dialogue.
well, yeah, they should have rushed the dialogue, yes. So what was cool about this one, Harrison was, again, I did enjoy working with Harrison, and I hate saying bad stuff about the writing and everything else, but I got to be honest, and he probably knows too, watching the movie, he should have done things differently, and he would do things differently if he had another chance at it. Harrison, on this one, where we're about to do the riot scene, so he was behind and he was shooting some stuff, and he was like, listen, I want to get this stuff here, but why don't you go to the other set and get our stunt guys and prep me like a bunch of little vignettes. Let's do this thing in like little vignettes. That way we don't have to capture it. And we had talked about it a few times about how we were going to get all this done and how we were going to make what little amounts of people we had recycle and use them all. And we were doing this in the big roundhouse section of the main section of the prison.
Is it safe to say that cuts down on how many takes too? Kind of? Like instead of like a big orchestrated, like
for sure. But it also, you're moving camera. You got to reset focus. You're resetting lighting. You're going with certain. You've got to. It has its pros and cons. So, a one wide shot. It shows everything, and you might get a really good take in one wide shot and be able to move on. Whereas, but people want to see, especially in this brutal, you want something brutal. So you saw, like, when we got in close, it looks fucking, my guys fucking, whoo, they
some
fucking
of
look
it
like they
really
are nailing each other.
Yeah,
It's
like
great.
really, I thought they actually were.
Well, the good thing was that in this, I'll get to that. So Harrison and I had talked, and he was like, look, this is how we're going to shoot this. We're going to get little vignettes, and so you go for the first half of the day and take your stunt team and you guys come up with a bunch of fucking things, a bunch of little spots, a bunch of little like hero moments, hero kills, this stuff. Give me a bunch of things to work with, and we'll come in and shoot a bunch of little, close stuff. And that way we can hide that it's not a huge, wide, full scale. And we got different things on the catwalk, and we got enough in different spots. So he went and did all that kind of stuff, and we started planning our stuff. And I would go to my stunt guy, all right, boom, we guys come up with a couple of things, and let's talk. The cool thing was that all of our guards who were going to get their asses kicked, who were going to get brutalized because the prisoners overthrow the fucking prison. All the guards had full gear on, had full fucking SWAT gear, full guard, but tactical prison guard, riot gear, riot shields.
Yep.
They had if they didn't have a pad somewhere, they could put their stunt pads easily underneath it. So these guys had back pads on, whatever they needed. They had all kinds. So when our prisoners who had nothing on, a lot of them, because they had prison gear on, which was long pants, so they could hide knee pads. But a lot were shirtless.
They were like
short sleeve V-necks where you couldn't hide elbow pads and stuff like that. So what we did was we had a lot of, the prisoners just really brutalized a lot of our guards. Like, there were some real hits in there. Like, they would, you pull up. Like, I just remember the one, my buddy Corey is just getting mercilessly pounded by who is it? Oh, no, you know what? It's Corey, because Corey was a guard and Corey was also a prisoner at one point. Corey's the prisoner, and he's got Matt Healy, and he's bashing him into the fucking grate. Just wham, wham, wham. He's on top of him, just face first, bashing him down. And it's a shot from but behind them, so it's like between the legs of the prisoner, you just see this guard being slammed into this fucking iron grate of the catwalk. And it's a great shot, and it just looks fucking brutal. And he's pulling, he knows, okay, as soon as we're making noise, really. And even my guy is like smacking.
Of course.
And he's like, these guys know what they're doing, and they're padded up real good, so they're able to even sell it even better, because they're like, dude, I'm fucking... Like if you put all this stuff on a stunt dude, they're like,
I can do anything.
I am indestructible. So we had fun with a lot of this. Justin Clark does a big jump. You'll see him jump from the top of a catwalk down and actually tackle one of our guards. So we had a couple parkour guys on that day. Josh was another one. He jumps down right before him and then takes a guy into the wall. Jonah was just brutal. He has the shirt off. You see him, he's like bearded, super hairy, and he's just going off. They show close-ups of him just fucking wailing, and you're just like, damn, this dude is killing. My God. I mean, there was some, David Chen he gets shot up and falls does like a header over the railing at one point. Who else? Josh got shot off of the edge of the balcony and fell. Lauren Lepre jumped in. Lauren's a local actor who I know from Philly. Shout out Lauren. He's made a couple films as well. And he was there just being one of the prisoners. And when we had to do the riot, I was like, you know how to fall. Get in here. So I needed a couple extra guys. And I was like, come on, get in here. We need another guy to fall. You're just a special ability extra now. You just got upgraded. There's a pad. Just when he shoots you, just hop down and then just easily roll to the ground. So we had a lot of pads out of sight and stuff like that for our prisoners to get shot and hit the ground. But our guards took a lot of fucking stair falls and a lot of that.
It was kind of brutal.
Yeah, it was brutal. There was a lot of good stuff in there. Shout out to all the guys. Brandon McClary and Muhammad Jae Ali.
Yeah.
Shout out my brother, Stunts, my boys, all my Philly guys, man. There was a bunch of them. Kaylani, and we had girls too. Who was it? Svetlana, and who else? We had another one. Oh, God, I forget who the other girl was. There was another one. We had a bunch. We could bring them up later for shout-outs, but we're going to keep it rolling, though. So after the riot scene... I think you're going to maybe
put, like, a picture of the crowd, so you could do that.
Yeah, too. I'll probably... We'll do some video in here. Maybe I'll show the riot scene. Maybe I'll throw the riot scene clip in.
Yeah,
I'll put a picture. I have pictures of the whole stunt team all together at the end of the shoot. Or on certain days you can see us. Certain days at the end, like the day at the end of the riot scene, I had all the guards and prisoners all together, and everybody's big group.
It's an exciting, kind of moment. I was like, yay, something's happening.
So yeah, that was the big stunt there. So after that, Kane comes out, the riot, the prisoners take over. Oh well, yeah, they also have like the interior of they overrun the fucking control room too, which is another big one where we had some good hits and some good stunts by my guys in there as well, some kills. But yeah, then Kane is up on the catwalk and he has the two heads and he's like, listen, and somebody shoots him and the fucking header over the fucking, off the catwalk. And that was done by Eric Audet, actor, stuntman from LA, who came out to work with us. He not only doubled Kane for the high fall on this one, he also played one of our inmates who tries to have his way shortly after this with our friend Cody. Cody Anthony. I gotta start calling him Cody Anthony. He's
which
not
is
Cody Longo
weird
anymore.
And that scene, even though it's if we're describing it and you haven't seen it, it sounds a little weird, but it was my favorite part. Like I was laughing the entire time.
It was shout out to Eric because he ad-libbed this whole scene.
Yeah, and you have
the scene with him. He's trying to have his way with him. With Cody, he catches Cody climbing out of the elevator shaft. So they're trapped in the elevator shaft, and Cody's climbing out, and as he opens the doors, Eric gets him, and he's like, "Hey, sweetheart."
No, he says, "Here's Johnny," and I was like,
"Oh,
"Oh, it's perfect." He opens the door. Everything after that was witty comedy.
Great. Yeah, he's chucking him around, and he's like toying with them, and it's like. It's almost like the fucking the deliverance scene with it's like the deliverance scene with the rednecks and Ned Beatty where he's just like, yeah, come here, baby, woo, yeah. Then you smell like lavender. Is that lavender? And he's like, you smell good. Is that lavender?
Yeah. And then at one point he's like, I'm not sharing you. I don't care how many cigarettes they offer me. I was dying, and I was like, this is the best writing, this part, and you were like, oh, that's because they didn't write it. He didn't have any lines, and he ad-libbed this whole thing. I was like, what?
I think he asked Harrison too. He's like, you mind if I say some stuff while I'm trying to like get him? And Harrison was like, yeah, what do you think? What do you think? And he was like, pitching up some stuff. He's like, yeah, I like it. Go for it. Oh, and that was great. That was what was great to work with. Harrison was great to work with as a director. He was awesome because he had really good ideas, and he was open to ideas. And like the actors would, they would bounce stuff around, and they would talk to me and ask me if their character would do something like that in that situation, and we would all kind of come to agreements on certain things. Days I wasn't there, I had no control over. Yeah. But yeah, on this one, he was great. He was like, yeah, Eric pitched the idea, let him say some stuff, and we were all cracking up. We were all laughing so hard.
I don't even know him, and I was hysterical.
And they cut the scene out at the end, and there's a scene when they cut this too, and I remember now, like in this, when the girls finally come up out of the elevator shaft, and after he's thrown Eric down and Eric dies and falls down the elevator shaft, and the girls come up, Cody's like pulling his pants up. And she's like, did I miss something? He's like, yeah, don't ask. And they cut the whole, like, it was like, they cut it for the non-rated version, or that must be, this is the theatrical one. Again, this is the Tubi version, so they cut that.
I see.
Yeah, there was a whole thing, because he manages to get his pants down. They're fighting over his pants.
But
at one point, they
really
show it. Yeah. Nothing happens, but he gets his pants like halfway down and during this wrestling match. Yeah.
It's funny.
And it was a funny
That's
scene.
A good one.
It was a good scene. So yeah, then they're up and they're like, then they go on the run. So we got the chase.
Yeah.
Before this, after Kane falls and gets shot and falls.
Yes.
I think he's dead. He gets back up. And then R.A. Mihailoff comes walking out. So this is R.A. Mihailoff, who was also a Leatherface.
Before he gets back up, he goes up to him and grabs.
No.
Yes. He was still on the ground. He
grabbed his gut out. You're right. Yeah, you're right. So Kane gets shot, falls down. He's dead on the ground. R.A. comes out of his cell with one of his goons and comes over and rips the hooks out, and his guts go flying everywhere. Yeah, and that was a really cool
But there was
scene.
it looked like there was a computer bit in there.
Computer bit in where?
In his guts. There was something like electronic in there.
It was the hooks. It was those hooks that were, remember the hooks that came from his wrist things? Remember they shot into his stomach? Yeah. They were still in his stomach.
I see now. Okay, I
So
didn't
he
realize
grabs
that.
the hooks and rips them out.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't show a close-up of it, so you don't really see.
I was like, what was that metal? I was
that's
like,
what it was.
It was
the
never
hooks
explained.
Because when they go, remember when they go to move them, the hooks go in.
Yep, not
They're gonna leave
important.
them,
Got it.
Again, it's stuff that they don't really.
It's not really important.
Oh, shoot, dropped my pen. Sorry. But yeah, and this, so he's down. Ari rips the stuff out, walks away. Kane gets back up. He's immortal. This is kind of where we first learned that Kane's immortal, and they don't explain why.
He said, but that's the point. He says, "I resurrected" or something like. So I was like, oh, maybe that's the first time he did.
That's probably the first time.
I think that's the first time he did.
Because he just knew it would work because he killed his son, and his son came back and got the fucking EMP in, so he knew that the plan was going as he wanted.
Sure. All right.
Yeah, this whole thing, I mean, it's really clever, but it's just so poorly executed.
Ugh, yes. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
And maybe it's the editing. Maybe they could have edited it better, too. Maybe it could have been
Absolutely.
edited better so that it was a little
Absolutely.
better. But I just feel like a lot of the dialogue's heavy-handed and too expository, whatever the fucking...
Too much.
Yeah, it's just too much talking.
Yeah. I can't say that enough.
Yeah. So, then him and R.A. kind of face off. I'm the new fish, da-da-da. And this was a scene where, so they call me. I'm going to have here's a little fun tidbit. They call me and they're like, hey, Jay, we need you to come coordinate the fight between Kane Hodder and R.A. Mihailoff. Now, I've been a stunt coordinator for maybe 6 or 7 years at this point. I've been a stunt man maybe 10 years at this point. Maybe or something like that.
God.
Yeah, I'm very green still. I got hired for this strictly because I was the local coordinator and I was cheap. And they didn't have to fly somebody in and pay to put them up. I lived near where the shoot was. I just fucking was in the right place at the right time. That's how I got in. So they call me to come and to coordinate between these two fucking legendary stunt dudes who have done this a million times before. And I'm just like, okay. I'm like, you guys have done this before. I'm just going to stand here and what do you want to do? And they were just like, yeah, we can come on something. What do you want to do? And they just said it was great. They were just like, how about I just do throat chop and you drop to your knees and then I was like, and then we get to the point where I can rip your face off. All right, cool. Yeah, that works for me.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm just like, all right, cool. So I'm just going to hold this pad and frame down here. And when you're ready to fall, RA, I'm going to slide it under and you fuck down to your knees, right over the pad. And then, sure enough, I think it was like one take. I think they got it in one take. They were just like, all right, let's do this. All right, action. Bam! Oh! And he fucking drops down. And fucking boom, and he's kneeling there. And it fucking comes over, grabs his nose. And then there was a whole fucking cut in with a really cool prosthetic head practical effect that they did with a fucking head. So Kane like grabs in his eyes and his nasal fucking socket and just rips his fucking face off, man. And
That's where all their money went, I feel like. All these.
The effects guys, shout out to the effects guys. I forget their names now.
That's okay.
But they were super cool, man. I remember going in and we would go over some props. They would show me props that they had and they would be like, yeah, is this, you got this and da-da-da. Awesome, perfect. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was a really cool scene with R.A. and Kane facing off, a couple legends, and I got to slide the pad in for R.A.
Yeah, it's moments like that I like appreciate this movie. Not even being. I was like, oh, I love seeing all these people together. You know.
Yeah, that was a very cool moment for sure. So then we go to our Cody and our agents and our doctor on the run, and they are running from the prisoners, and we get diving prisoners.
Yes.
And we get.
This is where we see Les?
This is where we see Les, our friend Les Price.
Yes.
So, Les Price, who you will know from, was it Army of the Dead?
Yeah.
Army of the Dead. The Netflix Army of the Dead, Zack Snyder movie. He was the zombie. The knife fight zombie who fought Batista with the knife and got twisted up and smashed into the fucking...
yeah, really cool.
Yeah, big cool fight scene. Shout out to our
And he's like, you see him like, running across the casino table.
Yeah, there's a couple other. He's
like
you
see him, he's like,
parts, but that was like a highlighted stunt scene for him to do a whole fight with Batista.
Yeah, really cool.
As one of the alpha zombies, in Army of the Dead. So yeah, shout out to our boy Les. Taught him everything he knows, mostly. Les and I go way back, training together, and he's worked for me a ton. And
you've seen him in one of the Heather is a Hex Girl.
Heather's a Hex Girl. You've seen him, in the Dickie Devil videos. You've also seen him. He helped me on Derailed. We've rigged together. We've worked on so much stuff. Like, he's one of the guys I call, like, locally when I need like a utility guy or thug. He's a good Rent-A-Thug.
Yeah, he looks like Vin Diesel.
Yeah, so. Vin Diesel looking Rent-A-Thug. So, shout out to all my Rent-A-Thugs out there.
Yeah. So that was good. But he's got this ridiculous scene with his tongue.
He comes running out and they love the silhouette of his tongue and they shoves Courtney up against the wall. So I'm at a story for this scene. Here we go.
Oh, God.
So this one, we had, they came up with the idea. This was like the first day of shooting where we first had the flashlight thing going. Kane wasn't even on set yet. Kane hadn't come yet. It was the next day, I think, Kane showed up. And when Kane showed up, the first thing he said upon meeting me was, "So I hear you got your main actor hurt on the first day of shooting." And I was just like, my heart sank. I was just like, oh. Because that's like a, huge no-no. Huge fucking no-no. I mean, my job as stunt coordinator is to make sure that everybody's safe. To make sure that everybody is in a safe environment. Not just my stunt people, but the main actors and everybody on the cast and crew. Hurt? If there's stunts going on, and we'll get to it.
Oh.
If there's stunts going on, everybody has to be safe. We make sure everything is done safe. We rehearse things so they're done safe. Our guys train to fall certain ways and perform certain ways so that they can do it as safely as possible to minimize injury and minimize wear and tear on the body. Stunts, everybody thinks that stunts is being a daredevil or being like Jackass, like Johnny Knoxville. That's not stunts. That's not how you do stunts. I'm going to tell you right now. Stunts is safety. Stunts is doing shit, very dangerous shit, but with as much safety prep as humanly possible. Every fucking contingency worked in, every, possible safety addition worked in, everything taken into account. There's a lot that goes into this. It's not just like, hey, I'm going to be an idiot and jump off this building. Duh.
Yeah.
That's how people die. All right? So, that being said, we rehearsed this scene with Les coming out and grabbing Courtney and shoving her into the wall.
Oh, no. Okay.
We rehearsed it a bunch. This was the first day we shot in flashlights, where we had just gotten word that the idea was we were going with turning off the red light and just total darkness, only handheld flashlights everywhere to see. So, our lead actors are running down the hall. They're being chased by convicts. They're coming towards camera this way. We have a camera at the end of the hall. Actors coming towards camera. So it's coming towards you, imagine. Actors going that way, all right? So now, as our lead actors come through, I guess it was our doctor first, and then Courtney, who gets grabbed, and then Cody is our last actor. So, he runs past as Courtney gets grabbed, and Courtney shoots Les and says, "Oh, you want a little penetration?" and bang, 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 which was ridiculously but fun. So we rehearsed it a bunch of times. Everything went great. Everything went smooth. The lights were great. Like the flashlights did their job. Everybody was good. Camera, boom, great shot. So we had a camera at the end of the hallway. We also had another camera who was inside the doorway where Les... Make sure you can see me. So here's our doorway. Les is going to run out and grab Courtney and take her to this wall over here. So the cameraman was in this doorway. So 6 rehearsals we did. The cameraman just stayed in this doorway. And Les ran out and pinned Courtney to the wall, did his thing. Everybody ran through. Cody ran past. No problems. Everything good. We go to roll on the first take. And Les will tell you this. Les was there. Les is like, what the fuck just happened? Go to roll on the first take. Everybody's doing what they just did 6 fucking times, except the cameraman in this doorway who decides now he's going to follow Les out into the hallway.
Oh my God.
In the dark, as Cody, our main actor, is running down the hallway behind Courtney. So as Les grabs Courtney and puts her to the wall, our cameraman with a huge shoulder-mounted handheld camera in the darkness steps directly into our lead actor's path, who runs face first into the camera and gets a nice welt on his head. Cut. What the fuck just happened? And that was like our first fucking day. I was like, where the fuck did the camera come from? I fucking went off.
I'm sure.
And the director went off as well because he was unaware that was going to happen. Nobody knew it was going to happen. Nobody knew it was going to happen.
What was the cameraman's reaction?
I don't even know.
What did you tell
I had to go and I had to make sure that Cody was okay.
My God.
That was my number one concern.
Jeez.
Making sure that our actor was okay. So yes, he was okay. He was fine. But the following day when Kane came to set and met me for the first time, I already knew because people had told me, Kane's a legend. He's a legendary stuntman. He's been doing this for 50 years. And he got word that this guy, Jae Greene, was going to coordinate Death House, this movie that he was starring in. He was like, who the fuck is Jae Greene? And I don't blame him. I didn't know who the fuck I was either. I was be like, who the fuck?
I didn't know who I was either.
Nobody knew who the fuck I was. So, I mean, some people knew.
So what did you say to him?
So I told him, I was like, Kane, we had 6 rehearsals where the cameraman stayed in the doorway. And for some reason, on the first take, the cameraman decided to run out of the doorway into the hallway, man. And nobody knew he was doing it. And he totally understood. He was like, okay. He's like, I get it. You have no control over that. And he's like, he's like, that's not on you. He's like, nobody told me that part of the story, but all I heard was that the actor got hurt. And I was like, yeah, well, that's what happened. We did 6 successful rehearsals. Nobody got hurt. And then for some reason, stuff went wrong on the first take. Because somebody didn't do the same thing that they did on all 6 rehearsals. That's why we rehearse.
Yeah.
So you do it right.
And you have to, and that's with everything. Like, you have to do it full out. Like,
Yep.
You got to test run everything, meaning do exactly what you're going to do. Even though your cameras aren't rolling, like that cameraman was probably just standing there waiting to go and then thinking he could just start walking.
Or he thought to himself, ooh, it would be really cool if I followed.
Yeah, idiot.
Not even realizing that there was another person running in the row, because it's all taking place in the dark and he's not paying attention. He's just looking, he's hyper focused on his frame. He's watching his frame. So if passing, he's not even thinking about that. He's just thinking about, ooh, my frame is this.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to follow.
Tunnel vision at its best.
So I get it. It would have been a cool shot to follow him, but we needed to plan it that way so that our actor knew to go around the camera, or we positioned the camera in a position where it wasn't right in the actor's path. This is why, it could have worked, but you didn't tell us you were going to do it. You just did it. All right. Anyway. Moving on from that one.
Well, that's what Jesse wanted you to talk about. That was the comment that we really got.
Yeah, I know.
Jesse
Les had said it too.
And Les, yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, what else do we got here? So Kane goes on a rampage. He's got like a whole gang, and his gang comprised mostly of our stunt people. Like we made sure that we put. That was an idea I pitched. I was like, hey, Harrison, why don't we have like a specific? Let's put our stunt guys, our hero stunt. Hero is term for appearing prominently on camera.
Yeah.
So hero stunt prisoners prominently behind Kane. Let them lead like the rest of the pack. That way we kind of feature them because they had distinct looks. Kaylani had like a ghoul face done and pigtails, and she had batons. She was trained in Kali Silat, so we kind of catered her character to being able to use the sticks and fight with the sticks. Yeah. And we gave her a bit of a Harley Quinn laugh.
Oh, a little bit. It's definitely a Harley Quinn laugh.
We gave her, that was my idea. Can we kind of, let's give her a little character. Let's make some of these guys a little more. But it gives that,
it's an insane asylum.
Yeah. And she was great. She was beating down fucking, you hear her fucking laughs. And Harrison wound up liking the laugh so much that in the scene where they wind up leaving leaving Dee Wallace for dead, and they
yeah.
all turn. You see Kaylani there, and she's one of the ones that's one of the main gang looking, that's listening, and Kane says, let's go, and they all walk away. But they definitely got, because
they dubbed it, you said they dubbed it in.
Yeah, because they liked it so much that I remember us finishing that scene and Harrison having Kaylani stated to do some ADR, some voiceovers, and just get the laugh so he could have it, because he was like, I like the laugh. Can we get it? So that laugh was.
It's a good laugh.
That was pitched by me, and that was something she did that that we kind of talked about, and she, we kind of threw that in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool stuff.
So yeah, I mean, his whole gang though, like he says at one point, "Oh, we got to get down. You want to get out of here? We got to go down."
Yeah.
To get out.
Yeah, Ed Healy, another stunt guy. Ed Heavey. Another stunt guy from New York working for me on that one. It was Matt Healy, Ed Heavey. I gotta make sure I keep them straight.
There you go.
Matt Healy was one of our guards. Ed Healy was one of our prisoners. He was one of our inmates. Mm-hmm. Long hair, beard, kind of Manson-y looking-ish.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he's off on the left a lot. And, but he has a couple lines. He's the one that talks about how we're going to string her up. Mm-hmm. When there's no power, how are we going to get her up there? And he's like, fuck it, let's just get out of here anyway. And that whole thing was just leaving her there.
Dee Wallace falls. We think she's dying, but whatever. I can't.
What about the other ones? We don't have time. Let's just go. It's just like such weird character decisions.
So I mean, we got to just get through this because
I know.
they just want to go down to the 9th level. Remember, 9 levels.
Yeah. We're gonna get down here. Still got more levels to go through. All right, so Kane's gang is rolling down. So before this, we also had the 3 Satans, and they release one of the Satans. Kane goes and sees him, and he gives him his mask. He's like, I need you to do something for me. And he gives him his mask. Yeah. And he puts on the mask. Yeah. And Satan number 2 puts on this, it's like a purple mask or a black, it's like a purple mask with blue drawing on it. Yeah. So that winds up being, that actor winds up being stunt doubled by our friend Mark Mackner.
Yay! And who's Mark Mackner?
Mackner is the director of the Daisy Durkin series, the writer-director of the Daisy Durkin series. And so will Dickie Devil. He makes an appearance in that one as well. Too. I was in his, let's see, I was in one of his previous movies, the Half-Life Horror from Hell. I was Kung Fu Brother Jae. Yeah. And I did a fight against the irradiated villain in the fucking radiation suit, and he kills us all. We can't beat him. He's just he's indefeatable. And Atari Skull Devil appeared in the last Daisy Durkins as a wrestler. He got his wrestling / movie debut in with Mark on that one.
Third one, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So Mark winds up doubling our actor on this one. And,
wait, you didn't say he's a writer.
Oh, yes, he's also the writer of Deadsville Rock and Roll Mysteries. Yeah. The first 3 episodes. He is our writer on Deadsville Rock and Roll Mysteries. I think he did he do one of the videos? Did he direct one of the music videos? Or what did he direct? The prologue or something?
Something, one of them.
We gotta look him up, man. We have credits out there. We need to start listing on IMDb.
I think it was Heather as a Hex Girl that he was here. I feel I think it was because you were on stage and here. I think so, but I could be wrong. It was one of the. I wasn't
on stage.
I mean, when you were managing.
Yeah, managing from the other room with my explosive diarrhea.
Something, but you had to orchestrate.
Anyway, keep it moving. Yes, Mark Mackner's doubling in this one, and there's some climbing scenes they cut out of this. There was some stuff that was cut from this because I remember his stuff wasn't in there. But you kind of see him. It's kind of like, what is he doing?
I was confused.
You don't even know what the fuck he's doing. There's so much cut out of this.
I didn't understand why they took him out, and you're like, that's Mark. I was like, I can tell it's Mark, but you couldn't tell if you didn't know. It was a different. But I didn't think it needed to be a different character because I didn't see anything happen. So I was like, why is there a double?
Well, the idea was that,
did I miss something? That there was needed to be a double?
No. The idea is that, originally in the original script, the Satan number 2, the reason they use him is because he can get through the lasers at the end to get into the cell containing the 5 evils.
Yes.
So when you get down to the 9th level, there's like a hallway you have to pass through, and it had all these fucking lasers. And he was like a contortionist or some shit. He was able to fucking go through all that shit. But
He was an illusionist, they said, when they explained.
okay. When they explained their backstories and everything, when they did that whole big long scene.
Yes.
So I guess that's why he kind of was able to.
illusionist.
Yeah, that's why he had the mask and stuff. So he was going to be able to get through the lasers. That's why he was the one chosen. But the problem was, they didn't show him go through the lasers. He gets down to the thing and he just walks up to the fucking. So he just walks up to the door and it opens and he goes in. So
I was curious, like, what did they only pay that actor for that one? Like couple scenes, and then they needed, like, what was the reason of having a double? I know the original thought.
Well, that actor was an LA actor, and all 3 of those actors were shot in LA on a different day.
So that's why. Okay.
So, but he had to be in scenes in mask here in Philly.
Now it makes sense.
So they were like, okay, we'll just have a stunt double for him anyway, who can just body double through the whole, whatever we need him to do. So he did a bunch of stuff that wasn't necessarily stunts, but he was getting a paycheck, so
yes,
it was a
no,
so
I just didn't understand
doing all the stuff
why they did it if the actors.
Yeah, that scene they shot in L.A.
Okay, so that makes
those actors were
all
out there.
the sense.
Yeah.
So then they get down.
So they Mark doubling the Satan gets down there. And then we have our laughable special effects elevator shaft scene.
Oh my God. So he kind of prepares me and he goes, okay, they have literally like a little piece of gauze around.
Well, they decide that they've got to go to the bottom now to get out. They need to go down and release the 5 evils, or go down and stop whatever's going on.
Ask them to let them out, I guess. But it's like, it's an elevator cable.
Mm-hmm.
Like that would, if you went like this, just 2 feet, that would cut your hand.
It would rip your hand.
Okay?
It would rip all the fucking skin off.
Yeah.
So they put a little gauze around their hand and they're like, okay, what's the plan? Drop and shoot. All right, drop and shoot. And they fucking get their guns out and they're holding with one hand and they're like intertwined, and this fucking.
I was like, what are they shooting at though?
And they're just shooting. And all of a sudden it's just like this rock music, and all of a sudden and all these floors are passing by and they're flying down like super fast and there's like.
But they're just shooting, but you don't see people getting hit through the doors.
And she's like, what are they shooting at? There's people and all these fucking levels. And she's like, wait a minute.
I said,
isn't it only 9 levels? How many levels are they going down? There's just floor after
like
floor.
100.
And then they're fucking intertwined.
Oh my God.
And then they finally start cutting to it, and I was like, oh, they're shooting prisoners. Because originally the way the scene was written was that there was prisoners on the elevator doors on either side, opened up, and a ping, 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 and they're falling, and it was this whole fucking thing that they didn't have any budget for to do. It's just like, he sent me this fucking script, and I was like, oh my God.
But they didn't, like the one scene where they actually do show one of the doors open.
Oh, they showed the door open.
They could have just reused that 9 times, and I would have been like,
but they wound up using just a couple of the fucking
riot scenes.
A couple of riot scenes.
I was like, that happened earlier.
And they're like, wait a minute.
But I'm telling you, it's like 5 minutes of the movie of them falling down this elevator shaft, and then
floor after floor. It must have been a 900.
It was
900 floors.
Yes, it was like the Empire State Building. Okay, and just and free falling pretty much, because they get down. And their hands are fine.
Oh yeah, they're fine.
Yeah, they're totally fine. And they're like, oh, and actually,
they never reload the whole way either. They're just firing away. Pow, pow. It's like the Matrix and shit.
I don't even know how many rounds, how many floors, how many rounds.
There's so many floors and rounds. It was insane.
But even
it's a movie.
They're going really fast, and like they would have pancaked at the bottom. Like, forget their hands. Like, they would not. They would have. I swear, they would at least have broken their ankles.
Oh my God! That's so fast.
And their knees and their pelvis. Oh my God! It was so ridiculous. And then they get out, whatever. And we go. We meet the 5, and.
Let me talk about this scene real quick, though, the elevator shaft scene. So this was one of the big scenes, the big set pieces that was in the original script that was sent to me. And when he sent it in, he's like, I need you to give me an estimate for all these stunts There's all these stunts, and this thing was calling for her to flip upside down and be shooting upside down. And we're seeing dudes falling and prisoners falling. And, like, and I was like, dude, we got to build an elevator shaft. We got to put porta pits at the bottom. We got to have rigging. We've got to have our actors each suspended on harnesses. We got to have stunt people falling into the pits. We got to have, it was just
or
like,
just something in front of a green screen.
Well, that's what we wound up. That's what they wound up doing, was just the green screen thing. So, and I was like, if you want this to look like, and even then, we like in front of the green screen, we should have had them like doing all that kind of stuff, but we didn't do any rigging or anything like that.
No.
I was like, look, you need like that's gonna cost you money. That's like
Even that's what I meant. Like even that in front of a green screen probably would have.
Yeah, like just get out the rigging kit and the harnesses and all that stuff. I mean, it costs money, and they were like, oh, we're just gonna green screen it, just hold it and just go close up and just pretend like you're falling. Blow a fan on them. And they blew a fan on them.
But it would have been believable if they just went down 9 floors. Like if it was 9, I would have been like. And
Was it a montage?
I think they got on at like level 4 though. So what? It should have only been like 5.
Been a couple floors, yeah.
If I was like, why?
It was a descending montage. They were showing it from all 4 angles, every wall.
No, it wasn't. I think they were playing Hatebreed during this part too. I'm not even kidding.
Oh man, yeah. Well,
Shit.
If you're still hanging on at the end of this movie, if you've made it this far.
Oh my God.
You're going to get through that. I mean, if you have watched the movie to this point, then it ain't going to bother you. You're in. So, because we're almost done. Don't worry.
This is the longest
we're almost
one
there.
I think we have yet.
All right. So,
But it's fun.
they all gather up at the bottom now. The 5 evils have been freed. And the fucking second Satan, they melted him or crucified him or something. He's crucified somewhere. I don't even know if they showed that, what his demise was in this one.
They have somebody. Yes, it is him in the middle of them crucified, but they didn't show it happening.
Yeah. They didn't show it. They don't show it happen. It's just off camera.
Oh, okay. So I didn't know that was him though. I just thought it was just somebody.
Yeah, no, it was him. They crucified. But there's a whole thing with them talking to him. They just wound up doing it off.
Yeah. So whatever. So Kane Hodder, he thinks that he's
immortal, and he's going to be the 6th evil. He's like, yeah, I'm joining you guys. I want to join the club.
They're like, okay, you think you are, and they put the gas out, and the gas knocks all the humans, and the whole.
Well, also before this, don't forget, we had the super long exposition by Bill Moseley that explained everything and brought everything together to tell you that.
Yeah.
This is where the transhumanism and the evil being wiped
we talked
out.
about
So
that.
if there's no evil, there's no good, and the world needs the 5 evils to be released, and then they got to go and find them and hunt them all down, so good and evil can stay in this epic battle. And if he would have explained it as eloquently as I just did, it would have probably made more sense.
Mm-hmm.
But he just goes through this whole big long thing, and everybody's just kind of like. It was just like this whole fucking exposition.
But that was the moment I was like, oh.
Yeah, it comes together and
right.
makes sense, but it's all just like.
But I still had some confusing parts.
It's still so confusing.
Yeah.
So anyway, Cody and Courtney are there, and they're just like, whatever, we're so confused. And they're like, yeah, you guys have been brainwashed too. You guys are part of the fucking game. And he's telling them, he's kind of like hinting that they're kind of, without saying, I think he doesn't outright say it, but he hints that
killers.
They have been through they've been through.
Beat me up.
They've been through the process. They're part of this.
Which we did, yeah. I mean, we saw them kill one person each, but whatever. It's beside the point. So we got.
Yeah. At any rate, we
got Kane.
Yeah. So he's like, I'm immortal, like you guys, and Bill Moseley's like, oh, you think so? And then all of a sudden, I guess with his mind, he just unleashes the gas that we've heard about since Act 1. That this was the fail-safe.
And our 2 agents fall. All the people in the entire prison are falling, except Kane. He's like, see, I told you. And then they make him like combust.
He's just standing there still for a minute, and he's just like.
So
he's just kind of being uncomfortable for a minute, and then he kind of reaches in and rips his shirt open, and we see him start to ash up from the inside out. And then all of a sudden he starts to flame on his head. And
no, it wasn't a flame.
It wasn't flame. It was like
orange.
sparkles.
So do you remember the original Children of the Corn when the little amoeba?
Yeah.
Orange.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of, like an 80s. like
Yeah, it was
pixelated.
bad,
I was like, I could
orange,
do.
glittery,
I feel like
fucking.
I could do better work than that. I feel like, and I don't even know what I'm doing. It was 2017.
It was
like
pretty
what?
awful. It was pretty
For
awful.
2017.
Yeah, but just and then remember the fucking little fucking things that whipped in that were supposed to be the lasers. They wound up just being like these little things going. It was like smoke would come in and be like. And people be like, ah! And my fucking stunt dudes are dying. Like they had the two guys after Kane goes into the fucking thing.
It looked like it would tickle
The two
you.
guys are like, yeah, let's go. And fucking Ed and Jonah start walking ahead. And there was supposed to be a bunch of lasers shoot out and fucking slice them in half and shit. That was in the fucking script. They get all diced up. And they were like, okay, well, just
It was just
fall.
like light.
You guys fall, and then we'll just put it in post. And when in post, it was just like a little bit of smoke was like, and they were like, ah, and they fucking fell.
I mean, it looked like it would have tickled.
Yeah, man. Looked like get me high. It would have come up. I would have been like.
Oh my god. Yes. You would have been chilling with the 5.
Yeah. Me and the 5 getting high. I got 5 on it. 5.
Oh, you're such a dork.
Throwback. Anyway.
Move on.
All right. So yeah, Kane's death was really bad CGI, and he blows up, and then Cody and Courtney wake up.
Yeah, I don't know why they
They just
didn't
wake
die.
up? Well, because they're part of it. And then they
Yeah.
open the door, and it's daylight, and the evils are gone. What do we do now? I guess we go after them.
But they have a moment though where she goes, "Okay, but I still don't know who I am."
We find out that too. We find them, find out who we are.
I was like, "What?
Yep.
What?"
Dun, 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 roll credits.
5.
Choppers coming in, and the credits are rolling, right? Isn't that the
Yeah,
roll
pretty
credits?
much.
And then the end.
And there's a funny little post-credit scene,
Which one? What was it?
mid-credit scene,
What was it?
where like they're like in makeup, and I don't know if that was the director. I don't know who it was, but he walks in and he's like, I could only find this mask, and it was a Jason
Oh,
mask.
yeah. That was, yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, they were probably looking for the,
Blue mask.
the Satan number 2
Whatever.
mask.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, that was it. And then they leave it on a cliffhanger because originally the plan was 5 more movies.
I can't even
That these agents would go out into the world and track down one killer at a time, one horror icon at a time. And they would have a whole Death House franchise going. And there were some talks with Netflix, apparently, originally.
What?
Yeah, originally early on, before this even came out, obviously.
that
before
put
this
the
came
nail
out, they
in
was
the
interested
coffin.
in it. Yeah, and then I
Yeah.
guess they saw the final product.
And they were like, hell no.
That ended that.
Hell no.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, that's it. That's
Yeah.
the movie. It was a movie.
It was a movie.
Damn good stunts.
Definitely amazing stunts.
Yeah, we don't have to get into rants. I've ranted enough about gun
no.
fucking.
I think we're probably over 2 hours at this point.
Is it really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got to wrap it up then. Let's get out of here. Final thoughts, Steph Infection.
You know,
We've said it already.
yeah.
Watch it. Fast forward through a lot of the dialogue.
If you're- like I said,
enjoy the
yeah.
cameos.
Yeah.
Enjoy the stunts. There's some cool kills in there.
Don't
There's
just
some
at
good
least put it
fucking-
on in the background so you get him some residual checks.
Yeah. Play
just
that
go
shit.
do that.
Give me them residuals. I could use that 30 cents.
Yeah.
Every 4 months they send me 30 cents.
Yeah.
Woo!
You got it.
All right.
All right,
Those
yeah.
Tubi residuals are really raking it in.
Oh my gosh.
All right. That's going to do it for us here at Deadsville Horror Talk. Remember to like, subscribe, email us at
DeadsvilleHorrorTalk@gmail.com.
and comment on this one.
Yeah.
And let us know if you've watched Death House, how much you hated it, point out some shit, what you thought of the stunts, point out some faux pas, some mistakes. There was plenty of bloopers in there. Crazy shit.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff you can...
Stuff that I even told. I was like, oh, they're just not even going to try and hide that. Okay, all right, here we go.
They're just like, it's a movie, keep moving.
Yeah. Right. Okay, here we go. But whatever, it's fun to kind of make fun of it a little bit too.
Yeah, don't try and make too much sense of it. Don't try and follow the plot too much. Your head will hurt, I promise you. Don't try.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yes.
Yeah, had really high hopes. I had a blast on it. All my guys did awesome work. All my girls did awesome work. Everybody, just outstanding job by my stunt team, making me look good. Thank you all once again. Thank you everybody out there for tuning in once again and listening to this bullshit. We enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
And next week we will be back with a brand new movie.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
What are we seeing?
The last voyage of the
Demeter.
Demeter, yeah. I was like, am I going to say this title correct?
The last voyage of the Demeter. And this one looks good. It's described as aliens on a boat. And it's a Dracula movie. It is the rebirth of Dracula. And the Demeter is the ship that carried Dracula from, I guess, Transylvania to wherever he was going. Wherever he's headed in this one. And...
what was that one what we watched? The Blood
Vessel.
Yeah,
Yes.
kind of, it reminds me of that.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
But this one looks so much darker and creepier and higher budget, way higher budget on this one than Blood Vessel. So, Last Voyage of the Demeter, if you're going to check it out, be sure to watch our next episode.
Which will probably be released a little earlier, maybe next week. We're going away, and we usually...
Slasher Fest. We're coming, Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah. Yes, we are.
All right. That's going to do it for Deadsville Horror Talk tonight, everybody. Stay spooky.
Bye, Scream Hearts.